Greetings. I'm Dr. Marilyn Mobley, and I'm here on Tuesday, November 25th, in the special collections at the Cleveland Public Library. We're so happy to be continuing our Blacks in Management Archive project. And today I have with me Reverend Hilton Smith. We're delighted to have you, Reverend Smith, because it is my understanding that you are one of the founding members of Blacks in Management. So we're happy to have you here today.
Glad to be here.
And we like to begin by, the way we begin with each person, we ask, tell us a little bit about yourself and your history in Cleveland.
Okay.
Before BIM, if you don't mind.
Okay. I came to Cleveland to work for Mayor Carl Stokes in 1968. He had just been sworn in as mayor when I got here. And so I worked in City Hall, 601 Lakeside, and that was my home for the 4 years that he was in office. And then when I moved on, after he announced that he was going to move on to become an NBC anchor in New York,
Oh, right.
and he decided he would not run for another office. Back in those days, the mayor's office was every 2 years.
Okay.
Every 2 years you had to run.
Okay.
And so he ran twice and won twice.
Nice.
Yes. And so when he decided to leave, I was there, and I had my civil service status, so I wasn't really worrying about working. They could have moved me around, but they asked me to stay on and work in the health department, where I had worked with the mayor
Okay.
for the 4 years he was in office. And so after a while, I stayed in the next administration, and one day I got a call from Turner Construction Company. And the fellow that called me, his name was, he's late Jim Campbell now, but he said that, I remember you, but you probably don't remember me. And I didn't remember him. He said, you were representing the mayor at a conference and you spoke, and I was impressed with what you had to say.
Nice.
And so he said, we have just moved into Cleveland, meaning Turner Construction Company, and they were located in the Erie View Plaza building.
Okay.
And so he said, we're here, and we just got a couple of nice projects. One of them was the Mayor Trust building on 9th Street,
Okay.
and the other one was building the headquarters for the transit company.
Okay.
And so I said, we need to fill our ranks with people that we know, and I found out that you know a lot of people in Cleveland. I said, okay, well, fine. So we can talk. And then he said something to me that I said in another interview this morning. The fellow said, we're looking for someone, but I'm not looking for anybody who's looking for a job.
Oh.
And that hit home with me, because I had mentioned to him that I had my civil service status, and I really didn't have to leave the
Right.
city of Cleveland.
Right.
And that's when he said to me, I'm not looking for anybody who's looking for a job.
That's good.
So that struck with me. And so we spoke twice, and I started working for Turner on Valentine's Day, 1972.
Oh, my goodness.
And so it was the first of the 45 years that I spent with Turner.
Nice. I didn't know it had been 45 years. It's good to hear this history. One of the reasons we were so happy to have you, not only were you one of the early members of Blacks in Management, but you just know Cleveland history. We just heard a little capsule of it just then. But I always introduce you as Reverend Hilton Smith. Tell me where the Reverend comes in. But in terms of before Turner, right? You were already...
No, I was not a Reverend before Turner. I became a Reverend with Turner. And so I was ordained in Stamford, Connecticut.
Okay.
I was working for Turner in New York, living in Stamford.
Nice. Okay.
And so I was ordained by Reverend Robert Perry, and the church was Union Baptist Church
Okay.
in Stanford.
All right.
And so, and that caught me by surprise too, because when I started going to that church, I just moved to Stanford, and I was at a meeting of a group called the Black Agenda
Oh,
in Stanford on a Friday night. And I mentioned to them that I just moved there and I'm looking for a church that has good singers. So everybody in that group said, "You want to go to Union Baptist?" I said, "Okay." And so they told me where Union was, and actually it wasn't too far from where I was living.
okay.
And so I drove over to the church on that Saturday so that I could know where it would be, and
Sure.
I wouldn't have to look for it on Sunday.
Right.
And so I got there on that Saturday, and they were having a program for kids, and that inspired me. So that Sunday, I went to the church, and Reverend Perry, the pastor, spoke on the subject of it's all right for men to cry.
Oh, my.
And he talked about men being so honcho and all that, and stiff, and never wanted to cry. And I was that type of person back then.
Oh,
And so he talked about that, and he talked about men loosening themselves and becoming followers of Christ.
oh, my.
And so I was sitting there, and at the end of his sermon, he walked down the aisle and said, "Give God your heart, but give me your hand." And he pointed right to me.
Wow.
And I joined the church that day.
Oh, my.
And so I was a member there from the early 80s until about 1990,
Okay.
because I'd moved to New York to work for Turner in the late 80s. And I was getting ready really to come back to Cleveland. And so what happened is that I started working with the church, and the church was beginning to expand
Okay.
the church. And so I had Turner to do all of the prelude to construction for them, so they could get their works in order
Okay.
in order to expand the church. So I was on that committee.
Oh,
And so after that, one of the chairman of the Deacon Board, I used to ride the train into New York
okay.
at Grand Central Station every day. So the chairman of the Deacon Board was a Deacon McCrae. So he came up to me one day and said, "Brother Smith, we've been talking about you at the church." And I knew he was going to hit me with something I really didn't think I was ready for.
Ah,
And said, "We'd like for you to consider being a deacon."
oh,
And I said, "Well, I travel a lot on my job. I travel every week on the job." And he said, "Well, just think about it."
okay.
And he never came to me again and asked me. He wasn't one of those kind of persons that would say, "Here I am again talking to you about it."
Right, right.
He just said, "Well, just think about it." And so I started thinking about it, and I decided I would say yes. So I went back to him and told him yes.
Okay.
And so that's how I joined the church. And we were taught in the deacons class by the chaplain, a black chaplain, Chaplain Street at Yale University. And Yale was only 30 miles from Stanford.
Okay.
And so he said, "I am not going to talk to you about being a deacon." He says, "You in your first stage of ministry school."
Oh, my.
He said, "I'm going to teach you to be ministers." He said, "Because the pastor can call a deacon up any Sunday to lead the service.
That's true.
And you must be ready to lead the service. In order to lead the service, you must know something about ministry."
Oh,
And so he said, "So when you finish this class, you will be deacons, but you'll also be a minister."
oh, my.
And I said, And so we started doing the class, and he gave each one of us a book to read. And at the end, we had to summarize that book. And he gave me a book by Dr. Preston Washington. He was the pastor of Memorial Baptist Church in Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
And Dr. Washington's book was entitled From the Pew to the Pavement.
Ah.
And I don't know how Chaplain Street gave me that book, but I was from the pew to the pavement every day doing
Uh-huh.
something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I read the book, and it talked about people going to church on Sunday and forgetting church on Monday. And he talked about people getting so involved in their work,
Mm-hmm.
but why not get involved with the Lord?
Mm-hmm.
And so I kept reading that book, and then I had the opportunity to meet the author of that book, and that's what he talked about.
Okay.
He talked about ministry and how ministry solves the souls of the world. Because if you are a minister,
Mm-hmm.
you can help solve things that you know that's going on,
That's right.
but you do it in the way of the Lord's way. I said, So I read that book a couple of times.
Okay.
And so then we became deacons. He said deacons and ministers.
Okay. Deacons and ministers.
And so Pastor Perry, pastor of the church, saw me after church one Sunday, and I knew he was going to say something to me. And he said, Deacon Smith, have you ever thought about the ministry in such a way that we can call you Reverend Smith?
Oh my.
I said, nope, I hadn't. And he said, think about it. And so I'm going to make this story as long, but I'm going to make it short.
Yeah, because
One night,
we're going somewhere with this, but I'm listening.
One
You know,
night-
I'm a minister too, so I'm listening very closely. This is your call story.
on a
Thank
Saturday
you.
night, I couldn't go to sleep. And I would go to sleep, wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Go to sleep, wake up. And that next Sunday, we always had a deacons meeting before church service.
Before service, yeah.
So as the deacons meeting was over, Pastor Perry stopped me. He said, Brother Smith, I need to talk to you. I said, well, I'm in charge of the service today. He said, no. He said, Deacon McCrae, get somebody else to do that. And so he said, could you sleep last night? I said, no. Did you wake up about midnight? I said, yes. Did you
Mm-mm.
wake up again about 2 o'clock in the morning? I said, yes. Okay. And he said, so did I.
Oh my.
He said, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I raised up in the bed, and my wife said that I was fighting. And she said, Robert, what in the world is wrong with you? He says, I don't know. He said, but now I do know. You have been fighting your ministry.
Oh my goodness.
That's when I called him on a week later,
Mm-hmm.
and I called him on a Monday.
Mm.
No preachers in church on Mondays.
I know.
That's the day off.
That's the day off. That's
was
for
there.
sure. Wow.
And I said, Reverend, I want to talk to you. He says, okay. He said, what are you doing this afternoon? I said, I'm free. He said, did you drive in or did you take the train? I said, I drove the company car in today. I said, but I'll leave here at 2 o'clock so that I can get back out in Stanford by 4.
Uh-huh.
And I'll see you there. He said, all right. So when I got there, I thought he was going to hug me and say, oh, embrace me and all that. He said, how you know you've been called to preach? I said, the Lord told me. He said, who you going to preach to? Now get this to Mr. Taylor. I told him black corporate executives.
Hmm.
He said, why black corporate executives? I said, because I see them when I'm coming to church on Sunday mornings, and they're putting the golf clubs in their cars,
Mm.
and they're going to the golf course rather than church.
Hmm.
Then he hugged me and said, "Son, that's your ministry."
Oh my.
And so there's more to the story than that.
But you've given me a wonderful nugget, a huge nugget of it. And oh my goodness, it's so exciting to hear. I appreciate you sharing that. That's special. Especially because that's my lead in to, so when and how did you learn about Blacks in Management that we call BIM?
Okay. Um, Bertram Gardner
Okay.
was he was the first one that thought about what Blacks in Management ought to be about in the city.
Okay.
And
He was with the bank,
he
correct?
was with Cleveland Trust at the time.
Cleveland Trust.
It became Ameritrust.
Okay.
And my wife worked for him.
Hmm.
And so when I I started working with Turner, and he said, "Well, we got a group of about 8 guys
Okay.
that we're calling ourselves Blacks in Management, and there's not a lot of us in town, and so I'd like for you to consider becoming a member."
So there were 8 already in place, and Bertram Garner asked you to join that 8.
I was a ninth.
You were the 9th.
And so I joined. And
Do you happen to remember who the 8 were?
that's it.
Maybe you can tell me later, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh, okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. And so some of them I met when I was working with Carl Stokes.
Okay,
And that's another story
okay.
about how some people became members of the corporate community. It was through Carl Stokes. And Carl Stokes would tell anybody that came to work for the city of Cleveland, any company, he said, "I want to see where your management is as
Good.
far as blacks and browns." And so he really started this whole thing.
That's good.
And so I began to go to the meetings, and they would meet at Case Western Reserve. Case Western Reserve on,
My alma mater.
yes, and we would meet in the Tomlinson Hall.
Okay.
And one of the members, 2 of the members there worked for Case at the time. One was Reverend Wesley Tolles,
Okay.
who's at Antioch, and Ernie Green, who played football for the Cleveland Browns. He was the blocker for Jim Brown.
Okay.
And after he retired from playing ball, Case hired him.
I never heard this.
And so it was Wesley Tolles and Ernie Green who hosted us every month. One of the students there was Stephanie Tubbs Jones.
Oh my goodness.
And,
Soror.
and Stephanie,
Isn't this something?
she would come over to us because we'd have great meals there. Every night. And as you know, as Mr. Michael knows, we always ate well. And so any food that we have left over, Stephanie would come over and take it back to the dorm. And she would help to feed African Americans who were at Case but had no family in Cleveland.
Oh my goodness.
And
This is
so-
the first time I heard this information. This is beautiful.
And so Stephanie would feed those students. And that's when we found out that she's going somewhere. And so with that, we would work on the banks and other corporations who were not a part of Blacks in Management. And then,
Now, when you say work on, tell me what you mean by you would work on them. You would designate some people from the group to go to CEOs?
okay, let me tell you how that happened.
Okay.
We had a committee, a committee of CEOs that worked with us.
Good, good. Okay.
And we were the President's Club, if you will, in Cleveland back at that time.
Okay.
We knew all kinds of things. They came to us when Frank Robinson became the first manager. black manager in baseball in Cleveland.
Wow.
And they told us that he was going to be the first black manager. And they asked us to welcome him to town.
This is important.
And we did that. And so over the years, we welcomed many more African Americans who came into town
Right.
to become administrators in in the corporate structure. And so, and that's how we built BIM up. The most important thing we did with Blacks in Management is that every year we'd take our families on a trip somewhere.
I learned about this.
And and the wives started working together and helping us to move Blacks in Management into where they said we should be. And we listened to them. And the thing that the guys like Bertram Gardner, Elmer Whiting, Cleve Brooks, Donald Holt, those are some of the ones that helped start the group.
And didn't Clay Wisham,
Clay Wisham was one of them.
one of the people? Okay.
Yeah. Clay Wisham was one of those starters. And what happened, they'd always tell us, do not come here with your heads up in the air,
Okay.
because where you came from, you can easily go back
Correct.
to that.
Correct.
So if you're not going to be solemn and be thankful from where you are and what we're trying to do, you can leave the group now.
Good.
And we won't call you anything other than you left the group.
That's right.
And so over the years, we had some to do that,
Okay.
especially those that were not really participating
Or didn't have the right attitude.
or didn't have the right attitude. And what happened there is that we had guys who would join the organization to get it on their resume, because we were the only black professional group in town at that time.
At the time. Okay. And can you pin a year on it? It was, or around, so it was after Mayor Stokes. It was after 68.
When it started? Oh, about 68.
Okay.
It was about 68 when it started.
So what role did BIM play for you personally as an executive at Turner?
To be humble
To be humble.
and to be glad to be in the position to help others to come into the company.
That's good. That's good.
And that was my modus operandi all my life.
Would you say it played a similar role in the lives of other black executives?
A lot of them still in town. And so we've worked with people all through the years, helped them to raise families and all of that.
Several people now, Randell, David Whitehead, Randell McShepard, David Whitehead have mentioned the family component and that was a part of how BIM grew.
Right.
But we do know early on, since I was the last woman president, I have to acknowledge this.
Sure.
Early on, there were no women
That's right.
presidents. So if you and I are correct, Charlie Pratt
Charlie Pratt was the
was
first black woman to join BIM. And she became president at one time
Right.
as well.
Oh, she was the first to join and she became first
Yes.
president. Okay.
And she was working a case at the time.
So I didn't know she was working a case at the
Yes.
time. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she got a
We
master's
need
doctorate.
2 days for you.
Yeah.
She got her master's at Case Western.
And I
And
don't
her
know if she
PhD?
got a PhD from Case or not.
Okay. Well, we can find out. The other thing I was interested in, besides being a member, did you have a leadership role
And BIM,
in BIM? Did you ever?
I became president for BIM about 7 years.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Any memories from that role, being president of BIM, that come to mind? Any particular ones stand out?
How the organization grew. I think that's the one major thing, because we grew from 8 to 9 members to about 20
Nice.
in that particular time.
Okay.
And what we would do before we would accept anyone, they'd be interviewed by a committee
Good.
on what their goals and objectives were. Why would they consider becoming members of BIM? And we used to have a pen that one of our presidents would ask us to wear that pin every meeting that we had.
Oh,
And his first thing he would ask is, "Where is your pen?" And it got to a point where he didn't have to ask that anymore. Everybody wore those pens. And so uh, I thought that that was a real symbol
I like that.
because it said if you're going to be a member of an organization like this, you got to show some signs of dedication
And some pride at
and some
being
pride
part of it.
in
Yeah.
part of it. That's right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow, I didn't know about that. So what would you say was the response to BIM from the corporate community?
Very well.
Uh-huh.
Uh, they would call us on practically any time they were bringing an African American in town. I'll give you an example. Don Murphy, the late Don Murphy, who came to work for Society National Bank at the time. He came here from New York, and what happened is that the first time he came here, he came by himself,
Oh,
and so they invited him back, and they said, "We'd love to see you again with you and your wife." And he said, "Well, my wife probably won't come." And the committee told him, "Well, you let us know when Mrs. Murphy can come,
mm-hmm.
and that's when we'll set the time for you to come."
Wow.
And so that's kind of the way uh, the organization was.
Mm-hmm.
When I became a member of the organization, um, what fascinated me more than anything else, that we found corporate executives that would listen to us. And we
Good.
demanded that corporate executives hire more
Mm-hmm.
black executives and then brown executives,
Mm-hmm.
but at that time, mostly black executives. And they would listen, and we'd have a meeting every year where we bring all those corporate executives together to meet with us, and we would just talk.
So that's another feature that I learned about. So was that once a year that you would meet with the CEOs? Okay.
Once a year.
Mm-hmm.
But certain things that we talked about, we would let them know it.
Right.
We would send them about 3 or 4 pointers that we had because we found out corporate executives do not read. Their secretaries read everything,
Uh-huh.
and if you give them something short and to the point, they'll read.
They'll read it. That's true.
So we wouldn't send them no 2 or 3, 4, 5 pages
Right.
because they wouldn't read it. And so and they told us that they liked that about us. We put 1, 2, 3, 4 points, and that was it. And then we would say at the end, pick out one of those points and tell us how you can help us.
Okay. And then did you expect them to come back and report? Uh-huh.
Yeah. And the one that they always had us talk to was Jim Davis, who used to head the Squire Saunders, and Ted Bonda. Ted Bonda used to be the chairman of the school board for a long time, and he had his own company. Those were the two that we really worked with. Oh, Strawbridge, who owned May Company.
Okay. Wow, these are names I haven't heard in a long time. What would you want current black executives? Well, I appreciate you keep saying black and brown. So what would you want current black and brown executives to know about blacks in management?
That we were a humble organization. We did not think we were better than anybody else. Our thought was to get somebody else in the company just like we were.
Good.
And everybody in that group worked like that.
So you had succession in mind.
Succession, absolutely. Succession in mind.
Good, good. So tell me what you think is your fondest memory of BIM. When you think back on it, what comes to mind at first? Not necessarily you as president, but because we are no longer in existence as we have been.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, when we talk about BIM, I'm a newer member, of course. The head of the library, I'm so grateful Felton has allowed us to have our archives here. Felton and I were introduced to Blacks in Management at the same time.
Right.
And So, we have more recent memories, but you have a wealth of memories.
One of the real memories that I have was a fellow by the name of Elmer Whiting. Have you ever heard of him?
No.
Elmer Whiting had a tax company on East 105th Street in Glenville.
Is he related to he's a late Elmer Whiting, correct?
Uh-huh.
Related to Gwen?
No.
No, another Whiting.
Mhm.
Okay.
And Carl Stokes found out that Ernst and Young at the time was doing more business with than any accounting firm
Hmm.
was doing in the city of Cleveland,
Mm-hmm.
but had nobody black
Oh.
at the as a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And Carl Stokes told that company, he said, "You're going to have somebody black as one of your top leaders." And to make a long story short, Elmer Whiting became the first black partner
Hmm.
in one of those firms in this city.
Wow.
And Elmer brought on Jerry Parker,
I heard of him.
and Jerry Parker was the head of state and federal taxes for Ernst and Whiting.
Okay.
And so that's how
Mm-hmm.
I think that helped me more than anything else. And then later on, when Danny Cameron, the late Danny Cameron, said that he was going to retire,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "I've already found a new leader.
Wow.
His name is Michael Till."
Oh my.
And he told guys over at the bank
Mm-hmm.
that I want Michael Taylor to replace me.
That's wonderful.
And they said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that transition came in together.
And blacks in management can directly be responsible for that happening.
No question.
Mm-hmm.
No question.
This is good to know. It's succession, it's networking. One of the things that David Whitehead mentioned, it also was created a safe space for executives to talk about, black and brown executives to talk about issues they need to talk about when they were sometimes in isolation, not large in number, but had blacks in management as a
Right.
safe place to talk about how do you
He
navigate
would come
corporate
and
space.
talk to us about everything. I mentioned to you about Frank Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else in town of color knew that he was going to be the first black manager in the American League.
Wow. But you all did.
We did.
Mm-hmm.
And they introduced Frank Robinson to us before he became manager.
Wow.
And then again after he became manager. But we had a negative there.
Mm-hmm.
He turned into a great positive. Frank Robinson came here and he stayed with the Indians for a couple of years.
Okay.
He never really introduced himself to the entire black community.
Oh.
And so when the Indians were getting ready to get rid of him, he had nobody in town that he could talk to.
Uh-oh. That's a whole conversation right there.
Uh-huh. And so they let him go.
Mm-hmm.
Then we met with Frank Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I made a mistake. I did not get involved with the black community as I should have.
Mm-hmm.
But you can rest in time.
Mm-hmm.
For the rest of my life,
Wow.
I will always be in charge of moving black and browns up in Major League Baseball." And he became assistant to the general manager. I mean, not the general manager, the guy that ran the American League.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that
Wow.
for the rest of the time. So what it became a negative, he turned it into an international positive.
That's wonderful.
Uh-huh.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially wonderful to hear this story because we're in a moment right now where issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion have been silenced. But this is the important work that you all were doing even before we had that language, helping people get involved and helping people get recognized for their work and helping people think about how to be connected to the community.
Right.
This is important. Um, is there an aspect of BIM that you would have changed? As you think back on it, is there something about it, if you could have done it differently as an organization?
I read that.
You saw that as one of the questions? I gave you questions in advance,
Yeah.
yes?
And I read it a couple of times.
Uh-huh.
And my answer is no,
All right.
because the setting had already been set
Mm-hmm.
to do the things like that question asked.
That's right.
And we did that all the time.
You did what you were in place to
We
do.
did what we were in place to do.
That's good. That's good. And when you can think like that, you can rest on a legacy that you did what you were here to do.
Right.
Is it possible? I haven't asked anybody else this question, but I feel like I want to ask you because of how we started and what you've said, that organizations do have such a thing as a moment to sunset. Do you think that, in other words, can an organization run its course in your thinking? Or does it morph into something else? I mean, this is not a question I had planned to ask, but it's just something that I think about sometimes because as I learn about BIM, it has been a wonderful organization. It has done some wonderful things. Cleveland is a better place because BIM was here, I believe. But, I'm just curious if you think an organization can run its course and morph into something else. I don't know the answer myself. I'm just...
The answer to that is this. Yes, it can run its course.
Okay.
And BIM ran its course.
Okay.
However, the feeling is that we hope that youngsters who have come into the fold of corporate America, certainly our children,
That's right.
the one could come and take up that slack that might be there.
That's right.
Because those CEOs who met with us, they pretty much did it on their own, and they did it every year. They would call a meeting. Oh, it's about time. When we're going to meet?
That's right.
And so we would hope that African Americans and browns and women would embrace something like that
Right.
instead of wanting to be the only one in that place.
Correct. Correct.
The only one.
So that's what BIM did. It helped build that camaraderie,
Yeah.
that sense of, as you were talking about, I thought about it, it helped to build a sense of how to read the community and what the needs of the community were and how to inform other people in positions of power to connect with the community.
Right.
That was a special role
Oh, yeah.
that you all
special.
played.
And our role was to not just be the only one.
That's right. That's
We
right.
wanted, we started recruiting and bringing minorities in. We started bringing in, I don't know whether you know this or not, Marilyn. We'd bring in black professors from HBCUs
I just learned this yesterday.
into Cleveland every year.
I just learned this yesterday. I never knew that.
We had a lady that came here from one HBCU. She was teaching labor relations
Wow.
and never had been into a session where labor relations was being looked after as far as the unions are concerned. She worked for GM here in Cleveland. And when she left there that summer, she brought the GM people down to her school and changed the whole curriculum
My
of labor relations
word.
because they were only teaching what was in the book.
And needed some real world
And needed
experience.
some real world experience. And she actually sat in on negotiations
Wow.
that year. And so what turned into the Urban League's Black Executive Exchange Program, that came a little bit out of them.
Oh my goodness.
And that was a national program, still is, for the National Urban League.
Okay.
some of us in BIM worked with the people at the Urban League, said, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to teach. And one of the things we talked to any black executive that was going out to the HBCUs,
HBCUs.
do not go into those schools using the word I. I did this. I done this.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about how you got there
That's right.
and what helped you to survive
That's right.
and how you may have fallen, but you got up and came back.
Resilience.
Resilience. So that's the kind of stuff we said. And then we would tell the people, if you have to go there and tell everybody about you, then you don't need to be with us.
Oh my. This is rich. This is so important. I know we're pretty much done now. We've asked all my questions, but the last one is just, you've shared a lot. Is there any other memory? Is there one thing you want for the record? This is going to be in the archives. This is your moment. Is there something else, some other BIM memory or something of significance related to BIM?
Is that we stayed together for 50 years.
Okay.
I think that says it all. We were able to know when it was our time to leave. And to know that we had made a difference
I love that.
in this character. All you got to do is look at some of our deceased members and look back and see what they did. Not looking for fanfare. Sharon Glasby was one.
Reverend Stanley Miller, another.
Reverend Stanley Miller. But with Sharon, nobody knew a lot of the stuff she did in the community until it was in her obituary.
Thank you. I was sitting there at her service, learning how much I wish I had gotten to know her. She was going to be one of the people we would have interviewed. But just the legacy and the legacy in the community of Sharon as a BIM member, you know, doing things in the community, grassroots, what we call
Right.
grassroots work every day.
Every day.
Young men who came to her service because she taught them how to be gardeners.
That's right.
Who knew?
Who knew?
So I was sitting there realizing, this is my BIM sister. I wish I had gotten to know her even better. I mean, I met her at BIM meetings.
Right.
But so I just appreciate that, you know, some BIM work was behind the scenes, sometimes on purpose, sometimes just because people were busy doing the work, not worrying about fanfare.
Right. Right.
So she was that kind of person. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. So 50 years and legacy, and you were part of it. So thank you so much for today. Thank you for this interview.
I was just
Thank you
happy
for
to be
this
part.
history. There's a part of me that is feeling very moved because of this. I'm so grateful.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate the founders of BIM, and I appreciate the fact that we could do our work and do it in such a way that you would see it. You would not hear us talk about it, but you would see it.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.